necessitated. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There's a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and "That's never going to work," and "Who do you think you are?" One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you. They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, "Hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too." When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you, the one who came. All right, if you are looking to reinvent life on your terms, if you are grieving, experiencing financial turmoil, career shifts, relationship problems, parenting, elder care, victims of abuse, breaking free from an addiction, or seeking an overall business and lifestyle redesign, then you may need a reboot. Is not fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, reboot your life and your business on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest Marcus Norman. Marcus is the CEO and host of Gentleman Style Podcast, and he joins other leaders, CEOs, founders, and thought leaders that have participated in the informative video interview series. All right. So whether you're in entrepreneurship, passive income opportunities, trending topics, and useful relationship tips, or are dynamic speakers, there is something for everyone on Marcus's show. All right. Welcome. Welcome to the show, Marcus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you making time for me. So excited.
Yes, and now my show is actually based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And we have had just about every situation and then some in the last almost 2 years now. So I'd love for you to share with the audience about a time in your business and personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
The experience that comes to mind, the earliest experience in business wise, was when I was laid off. I was laid off from my employer. I was let go, and I had to figure life out, and I had to figure life out quickly. I was into real estate, but my real estate and all the different things I was doing on the side of podcasting
Right.
hadn't come to fruition yet. And
Mm,
so I quickly had to learn and grow, and I came back in a period of time where the job market wasn't what it used to be, right? I remember a time where I could go into an employer and fill out a paper application. I'm
yeah.
kind of showing my age here. And but now everything was electronic, right? You walk in and they're like, "No, go to our website and apply." And I'm like, "What?"
Mhm. Yeah.
So I had to learn, I had to adapt, and I had to pivot really quickly. That was
Mm.
a really, really tough point in my life and in career.
Yes, yes, and it's something that's kind of scary when you're the provider at home. And for me, I raised 6 kids. I adopted, 3 from birth, so I had this big family to yeah to help and provide for. And it was just me a lot of the times. My ex he decided that I was making too much money, so he didn't work at all from like the second year of marriage on ever. And so
Right.
nothing. So I had to do everything, and it was
Huh.
really hard and scary because first I was an employer, so I hired people at the businesses I ran. So I always worried about those families. And that was one pressure. But then I also was concerned about, if this business doesn't work out, oh my gosh, I've got to provide for my family too. So it is a big thing. And it's really interesting. What was real estate like for you? I got into real estate a little bit as well.
Real estate was the thing, right? It was the thing that everybody was doing. It was the hot item. Watching different movies, the different films and just getting into real estate, and you hear all the gurus talking about it. Buy my book, the Robert Kiyosaki's of the world. Buy my book, take my $10,000 course, and I'll show you how to flip real estate and make millions. And so I did some of that, some of that, not all of that, but really found myself in real estate and really found my own personal niche. Right,
Mhm.
real estate is a complex thing. You have
Yeah.
multifamily, you have single family, you have urban development, you have land investing, so many different assets. So in the mistakes I made, I was able to grow and figure
Mm,
out what is it I really love, and I enjoyed multifamily rental property, long-term real estate.
yes, yes.
So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
a
first.
long-term kind of person myself. I got into real estate as this young girl. I actually grew up in foster care partially, and then homeless, and this and that, and then finally at 15 got emancipated, graduated high school, and started college early. And so for me, I had to figure things out on my own a lot. And I ended up working as like a manager in a triplex, and then and managing a big other building that I would drive to. And then also I learned, oh, this is like kind of a cool thing. So my first investment, I was very young, like 19 years old. I bought my own triplex with all the money I saved and lived in like the little back, like it was really kind of like a converted shed kind of thing. And
Oh,
rented
wow.
everything else out to, because I was like, well, I don't care. I don't care, nobody's coming to visit me because I'm working full time anyway, and I just paid it off with the money. And then it took me years to like get into the home and all that, and now I have a couple of nice homes, but it took me a long time and lots of sweat equity. uh, I ended up opening gift stores at 23 going forward, and with that I ended up with five. I was renting the first one, 5,000 square foot in Montrose, California. $5,000 a square foot. So 5,000 a month when I was 23, a million years ago. It was like,
You look great. You look great.
thank you. And so like that's crazy, the amount of money. And I had to figure out, I thought I had 6 months of free rent was going to be like forever. When you're 23, 6 months is a long time. And then the rent was due, and I had to make money, and I figured out how to make money in the store. But the biggest money I made was actually through real estate, because then I bought the other store buildings, and I had four more that I purchased over the years. And so that was something, that's how I got into real estate, because the people that were in the shopping park there that were twice plus my age were asking my advice on how did I do that and how can they invest. so and
Isn't
so
that
I
crazy?
started doing deals, and I wasn't in that. It was like Tony Robbins has this thing at Business Mastery. I've gone to many of his events, and at Business Mastery he says there's the business you're in, but what business are you really in?
It's
And
true.
when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm really in the business of real estate. I'm making more money with the real estate deals than even in the stores, which are all, they paid for the buildings, those stores. So it was great, but at some point I did, after 17 years, exit the retail and just did real estate and traveled full time. Actually 7 years straight with the Tony Robbins group, and traveled the world and had a blast on that income. But I worked those 17 years 18, 20-hour days full time, and all the buildings that I purchased were like sweat equity.
The
And
grind.
some of the tenants were like, why are you cleaning? I'm like, because I'm trying to pay this mortgage down. That's why. It's okay. I have no shame. I'm okay with doing the work. I don't like it, but that's how I did it. I was young enough where I had the energy, and now I really don't want to do that. But if I have to, it is what it is. And that's something where we have to um roll up our sleeves and do the work sometimes.
It's so
So
true. It's so
yes,
true. It's a grind. It's a hustle. You got to fight in the beginning
yeah.
stages, but it pays off so well in the back end.
Yes. Yes. So I'd love to hear how, so you went into real estate. Now, how did your podcast show up?
The podcast showed up. My podcast showed up out of a need, right? A necessity, right? Information. In the age of information, right? I didn't want to be the blind man. I didn't want to be the one running around. And information was all over the place. You got the library, you got books, you got newspapers, you got audio, video, and all of this stuff. So I wanted a single place. I knew what I liked. And so
Hmm.
I wanted a single place to have all the information any one person could need. If you
Yeah.
wanted real estate, you got real estate. If you wanted
Mhm.
cryptocurrency, you got cryptocurrency. If you wanted Bitcoin, unique investing, alternate investments, right? Gold watches, ancient archival clocks, investing in
Mhm.
assets, right? If you wanted to invest in alternative investments, I wanted a single location where you could go to get whatever it is you needed to do better in life and
Yeah.
not have to pay the tens of thousands of dollars that I had to pay for those seminars.
Oh, yes. Yes. I went to the Kiyosaki seminar. I went to everybody's seminar and yes, yes. And I learned a lot. And some of the stuff, because I had already been in business so long with real estate investing, I could have taught the classes. I mean, like, because it was the experience. And so I never did the no money down. I don't know if that really exists, but
Make it
I
feel it
did.
does.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so in California, it's interesting. And so that was a lot, but that education is important. Now, what would you say, Marcus, is a way, okay, listening to shows like your show, my show, and other ways to know when you are going to invest in a program, a training to get some knowledge. How do you figure out which one to invest in without getting burned? Because let me tell you, I have spent a lot of money on things that did not work out and didn't give what they promised the moon. Like, you see a movie trailer and you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to be the best movie ever. And you're so excited. And then it's like the worst movie ever. And it's nothing like the trailer. And a lot of times that's that's what you get. And you're like, wait, I just paid how much money? And I have no results, not because I don't apply things. I apply immediately when I go to an event or a course, but it's because there was nothing given. Or they try to upsell you to even
Right.
more, but the answers that you're looking for that they promised never show up.
You're so true. You're so right. You hit it on the head. And I'm gonna answer that first part. How I know if something is for me is if it's truly something worthwhile. If like you said, how do I feel? How do you engage me? Right? If you're
Mhm.
telling me, hey, you can make $1 million tomorrow, that's a
Right.
scam.
Yeah.
That's not true. Anything, just like we just went through, real estate takes time and it takes work. But if you're telling me, listen, if you join my program, it's 6 easy. Dave Ramsey is really good at this,
Yeah.
right? And he's speaking on such a powerful statement of getting back your financial freedom. But he tells you up front, this is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be next week. It takes years,
Mhm.
but maybe 15 years. He can shave you down to 2 and pay off your mortgage, right? You
Yeah.
have people calling in and doing their debt-free screams. That's how you tell the difference. What kind of emotion does this course invigorate in you? If it's budging you to urgency, right? The
Yes.
dirty car salesman tactic, right? I call it
Yeah.
the dirty car salesman, right? I need you to buy right now. This deal is
No.
only available to now and it won't be available tomorrow. That's
Hmm.
not a good deal.
Oh,
That's
right.
not a good deal.
Yes, yes. And that's an important thing. Buying a car. I am actually trading a car, buying a new car for one of my daughters that actually, she's kind of paying for it, but I'm helping on the hunt.
A
And
Tesla? You getting a Tesla? You getting a
no,
cyber
not
truck?
the Tesla. That'd be nice. But it probably will be a hybrid or something because of the gas prices. And it just kind of makes sense going to and from a university, living at home again with this pandemic, that just the gas prices alone kind of makes sense to look into that. But boy, the story is there are no cars available anymore. And I'm like, well, how come I can go online and see 50 for this price range?
Right.
And I've test drove 4 today that were less and have less miles. And so it's all a story and a hype. And there are some really great dealers that we've talked to and work with. And I think we're going to come down to one car sometime this week, hopefully. But that you could feel it. I went to one dealership with my daughter and it was like sharks. There was like
Hmm.
12 guys they were all guys, and they were all coming toward us to see who could get, because I have a nice car, and they don't know I'm buying a pre-owned, used with low miles car for my university kid. And so they're coming to me thinking I'm just going to write a check or something. And I'm like, no, this is what I want. And they're like, oh, okay. And they all walk away and give me the young guy
Oh,
card. And I'm like, okay,
oh, you broke their heart.
I thought you loved me. But
They loved your pocketbook.
yeah, that's right. And so I was like, oh wow, this is the feeling, the vibe there was just like, and I'm sure it comes from management. It comes from the way the place is run. And I'm sure they're all good people. But the reality is the pressure right now to make a sale. And I think it's terrible that the salespeople don't have at least a minimum wage that they can, okay, at least I can like get some food on the table this week if I don't make a sale. And I think that's something that should be considered as well. And I think it would really make people feel like, okay, relaxed enough to actually make a sale without that intensity that's so bad that it's just like, it's a turnoff. It's
Right.
like, okay, you're so desperately wanting to sell me this car, you don't care about what I need or what my concerns are for my daughter, whatever. So
Because
that's
your mortgage is due next week,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're
Or,
like,
you want to eat dinner tonight or whatever.
mhm.
Yep. So it is a big deal. And that's something in business that, what do you think about that with all the people you've interviewed regarding investing in business? What sense do you get out of business right now during this very interesting time?
The sense that I get is we're all going to have to tighten our belts, right? And
Hmm.
COVID-19 showed the world that you need another source of income. You can no longer, the
Yeah.
days of working at your job for
Hmm.
30 years and living off of a pension, living off of your social security. It's known now. Social security is now has a expiration date. It's going away. And
Wow.
what COVID-19 did is it fast forwarded the entrepreneur. And
Hmm.
I mean, literally overnight, I think there are now like millions of podcasters, people, grandma and grandpa, grandma and grandpa are now selling jewelry, right? They're
Hmm.
selling out their garage. So the age of entrepreneurship, COVID-19 showed us, and what people are now realizing is I need something else. I need an income that doesn't require my time or my energy because my job and my employer and now the economy can't sustain me anymore and I need to do something else. And that's what these business experts on my show and your show are
Hmm.
now saying without saying it.
Right, right.
You need to do
So true.
something else.
Yeah, and as an entrepreneur, I always had other businesses going on because I had to make sure. I mean, if I didn't pay myself, I made sure all my employees were paid, on the slow months. Okay, this is the way it was. And then, and then things pick up or, different seasons. When I did retail, there are seasons. Summer is really bad for sales. Now, this season we're going into, so you have to shop in June for Christmas at the wholesales. And that's how you prepare for Christmas. So by the time you see Christmas, you are so done with decorations and Christmas stuff. And holidays and Thanksgiving. I mean, it's like over. But you're putting all your money out in the months where nothing hardly comes in compared to that season that carries a business and that would carry the store the rest of the year, really.
So
And
true.
so that's a big thing. And one of the things I learned talking about finances and investing is business credit was incredible. And that I could at by the time opened at 23, by the time I was 25, I could take that business credit. I bought a van, all the properties I bought for the store, use the business credit, lower interest. No way would you give a 24, 25-year-old the buying power. I could, 50,000 I could easily put on the credit without even blinking because you have inventory for the stores, you've got vehicles, you've got different things you need, and it didn't affect my personal credit.
Right.
Now, some of the people that were actually in the shopping park for years and years and years, they use their personal credit, and they would have like a HELOC, a home equity line, and they would borrow from the home. And then when the business didn't work anymore, or they got sick, they would lose their home.
Yeah.
And that's really scary, and something that, I mean, I don't really love credit. I like to, like, pay things off and not be in like a big debt. I don't want to owe anybody anything. But if you have to, and it's business credit, and it's really an investment in your business, and you're cash flowing, and you pay it off, that's kind of a tool that you need. And at least you're not taking from the house or the bank, where that's the emergency for COVID situations that we could never imagine, or for some type of situation that might show up, that, illness, loved one, whatever, somebody needs something, you can help, or else it's all in the business and you don't have anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The business doesn't take you out if it doesn't work. But you're right, right? When it's your money, when it's your credit on the line, people tend to make better decisions for their businesses.
Mhm.
They tend to make better investments, right?
Yes.
And so they're like, well, is this a piece of equipment? Is this vehicle? You bought a vehicle, right?
Right.
That vehicle had to pay for itself. That was the only justification for it. And so now we're using our credit wisely, right?
Mhm.
And like you said, it's not nice. If we would I prefer to go down to the dealership and just say, hey, get off me. I just want this car. I'm paying cash.
All
Leave me
right.
alone. I don't want any of your tactics. Like,
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, no, I enjoy the car buying process. It's a whole fun thing. But, it's you wanna be fair, but also, it's a game. So
it is a game. I want you to eat. I want the car salesman to eat. And like you
Right.
said earlier, the strategies is kind of this hunger, this kill or be
Mhm.
killed that the dealerships are pushing on them. But I
Right.
want you to make money. I just don't want you to get rich. I don't know. It's not even get rich off of me. I just don't want to be hurt in the process. Like you said,
Exactly.
care about me, right? If I
Right.
tell you I want a red car between these years, don't sell me the newest car. I didn't ask for that. I
Mm.
didn't want that. I knew what my budget was when I left, when I came here.
Yes. Yes. Now that's years ago, I bought a pre-owned. I never buy new. I confess, I do not. The only time I bought new was that van for the store, because it needed to be new for the business, whatever. And it was a zero interest deal, and it was great. But usually I buy pre-owned with low miles. And that's just because it depreciates. And so that's just me. And it's just, one time I went to buy this Ford Mustang. It was really cute. Maybe it had
Ooh.
11,000 miles on it. It was a couple thousand under the blue book value. I go into the dealership. This was in Roseville, California, up north, not far from like Sacramento, I guess would be like the main town you would think of. And I walk in, and this dealer, the guy that I worked with, the sales guy, he was the top sales guy. And you go into his office, and he has all these pictures of when he was a model. Yes, and he's won awards as a model. And of course, my consulting training comes in, and we're talking in the car. This was when I was still married, and the ex left and came back. We were there 5 hours,
Oh my gosh.
and we weren't even talking about the car. I was helping him, and he literally called somebody in Paris and quit his job and went back to modeling. And it was, and he
Whoa.
gave me that car for like the price, that whatever he could get away with. I mean, it was like ridiculously low. I was lower than the couple thousand under blue book by the time I was done, because I helped him with his life. And they were pissed at me, to be honest, because they lost their best salesperson.
I
but,
bet they're happier. He's
yeah,
happier.
yeah, but he needed to go do what he really loves to do, and he still looked good. But he was still a great model, and he went back to it. He had given up. And so it's funny how, there was a give and take. It wasn't just me taking. And so, and I really love that cute little car. We did lots of road trips on that. So that happens. Now I'd love to hear about the name of your podcast, Gentleman Style Podcast. So where did that come about? How did you come with that name?
Thank you for asking. Gentleman Style Podcast came about because of me. I am a gentleman, and I don't see a lot of that in the age of media. and
Mhm.
television and rap videos and dance videos, right? Men, I want to see a change. I want to see a little bit of change in men. Even though my show isn't just for men, it's for
Right.
everyone. But I want to see men getting back to being gentlemen. And gentlemen back in the day they were distinguished, they were prideful, they were
Right.
educated, they were assertive, and but above all else, they were knowledgeable.
Mhm.
And so I think any man or woman who intends to make an impact in their home and makes an
Yeah.
impact in their lifestyle,
Right.
um, needs access to knowledge. And
Mhm.
that's what sets you apart from everybody else. And that would it's up here, right?
Yeah.
This. And
Yes.
so gentleman's style, I'm a stylish fellow or a
Yes.
stylish lady, right?
Yeah.
I'm a gentry. And but I can go somewhere, and if I want to become a quick expert in something, I want to get familiar with something. I've had experts, unique interviews, ATM business, start your own ATM business, vending business. I
Mhm.
have a gentleman, he created his own cereal company. And
Wow.
so you can go and get a really strong foundation in 30 minutes on my show. That's what
Yes, wonderful. That's wonderful. I love that. And I know ladies listening in, they're like, yes, bring the gentleman back. There's something about when a guy is a gentleman and you feel safe, that you're like, okay, I feel safe with this person. And that's everything. Whether you're selling to a person or you're in a relationship or like your dad with your kids, when they feel safe and they know, it's not like you can do everything, but you're like, I've got you, sold. That's the winning relationship right there.
it
That's
is.
what everybody wants, and that's really important. And I think that's even for a woman, for a man, is when you can trust somebody and you feel safe and you know they're in integrity and they're a lady, I guess. And that would be that too. It's that same thing about, what is this really about? Whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, a family relationship. And in my book, I have a Boots formula that goes through all the different situations, and you use this formula to get back on track quickly. And the first B in the Boots formula is for being. So that's in all that I'm doing, it's who I'm being. It's how I show up for my family, my friends, whether I'm cleaning my house, working with my clients, it doesn't matter. It's who I'm being and all that I'm doing. And that I think that's the essence of that gentleman or lady, where it's how you're showing up no matter what. Even if you have to pull up your sleeves and do something you don't love right now, at the moment, different jobs or whatever it is, that's okay, because it's how you show up. It affects the entire situation.
It's true.
Yeah.
True. Knowledge is power. Knowledge changes. It changes your trajectory, right?
Mhm.
Just where you asked me, and even in a hurtful situation, I had to become re-educated. I had to re-educate. That was the pivot. COVID-19 showed a lot of business owners that you don't actually need this office space,
Right.
right? There are systems, there are softwares, there are apps that are
Mm.
in place that you can still manage a productive company. You can still run effective business from
Yep.
home.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice? And I think there's a shift in families. I think our new generation, our younger generations growing up during this time have a gift of time with parents, with family values, with the education you really want your kids to have or maybe not have, depending on what it is, because you're home and you can see, wait a minute, what is this school talking about? Okay, we're going to talk about that after that lesson, and tell you where our values lie with this whatever was just taught. And so that makes a big difference, and I think it's going to create incredible leaders. We have to have patience, our kids have to have patience. We don't get to have everything we want in an instant like we did pre-COVID.
True.
You
Very
can't,
true.
sometimes you can't go get something at the grocery store because it's closed or lockdowns, mandates, whatever, or it's out of
Toilet
stock.
paper.
But listen, we didn't get eggs during the lockdown. We had no eggs. We
Wow.
didn't know how much we liked eggs.
So
And
you
she
had none.
it was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a luxury." And we had to be I was like, "Oh, if I just want an omelet right now," because I couldn't have it. And we couldn't go eat out. Lockdowns, it was so stupid. And so we had to go back to basics. And
Toilet paper.
yeah, oh yeah, that was I mean, listen, I confess, I have like 4 cases of Charmin because I went to the office store a few weeks ago and they had the 12-pack Charmin, $4 each.
Steal.
Holy smokes. I was like, "Okay, I know this looks bad, but you know what? That's a great deal because it's like $22 for 12 or some stupid price now. It's ridiculous." I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna stock up on that." I have no shame.
It's
So
going
that
in
was
a bunker.
yeah, $4, $4. I was like, "This is incredible." It was embarrassing, but I did it. I confess. So, it
I'm
is
right there
what it
with
is.
you. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
it is. Yeah, it is. So, I would love to hear maybe some examples of your favorite interviews and what you got from them.
One of my favorite interviews was the ATM business. I'm in the ATM business, so I have a small portfolio of ATMs that I manage and operate here where I live locally. That was a unique interview because I brought an expert who has several hundred
Mm,
ATMs, and just the conversation piece, and it gets the mind flowing. Seeing how you make money, the different ways you can make money. A lot of people, when they think ATM, they think bank, and they
yeah.
never think about the thought of an individual owning an ATM. And
Mm,
so that was a unique piece. When I first got into real estate will always be my first love. But I was sitting on capital and I was sitting on money and I was looking for another investment to do with this money.
yep.
But didn't have the high barrier to entry like real estate does, right? That
Mhm.
20% down,
Right.
15% down, but still had a high profit margin. And
Mhm.
I literally Googled it and it came up ATM business.
Wow.
So that was a very powerful interview. That was a very unique interview that I love today. Has over, I think, like 10,000 views.
Wow.
Another interview that was really powerful was a Panama. Um, Evie Brooks. She is in Panama and she is developing the agriculture. She's a Robert Kiyosaki educator, and she used
Mhm.
to work with the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad platform.
Yeah.
And she branched off, and now she is over in Panama and she's developing the agriculture and the real estate in
Wow.
Panama. And she has a program and a class that you can actually, for $1,500, it's probably going
Mm,
to go up here in a little bit, but for $1,500, you could fly down to Panama and invest. You
wow.
can invest in the crops and the agriculture.
Mm.
That show has 21,000 views.
That may be something to look at right now with our agriculture the way it is. And I mean, look, we tried to grow lettuce at home during the lockdowns.
You don't have a green thumb.
No, we decided we would starve. We would just have to starve if it came down to that because everything failed. And it was like weeks to get like a little bit of lettuce, and then a bugs got it, and it was like, okay,
Uh,
never mind. So that did not work out so well. So that's important to look into.
it is.
That sounds like a good time right now.
It was fantastic interview and an incredible and her backdrop was breathtaking. She's in Panama on the beach
Mm,
overlooking the water. So that
wow.
interview was phenomenal. Those are my two. I have tons of favorite interviews. Those are my two favorite interviews that I enjoy. And they're just so unique. Stuff
Mm,
you don't think about. Stuff you're not going to learn in school. The
right.
kids are not going to hear about that in school. So
Yes. Yes,
that's
that's fun. I love that. In fact, my daughter and I interviewed someone on the show that does the vending machines, and she wrote a whole book about it. And so we are going to record ourselves going through her training and the process, and we are going to invest a little bit and play with this vending machine as a fun, business for a college student. And I'll be helping out, and we're just going to see where that goes just for fun. Yeah.
you you and me are the same mindset. That's the plan. I
Yeah.
want to turn over an ATM to my future child. I want to turn over, hey son, here's
Mhm.
this bank account. When you turn 18, here's a bank account with $100,000. What school, what university
Right.
could they not attend? What college could they
Mhm.
not go to with $100,000? But on top of that, I'm going to turn over the machine, the ATM, the vending machine that did it for you. And
Yeah.
now you don't have to work in college. If you take care of this machine, it'll take care of you. That's
Mhm.
legacy.
That is, it's so important. And raising my 6 incredible children, I learned a really hard lesson with the first one, love them all, but
Right.
where I came from, foster care, homelessness, and, being on my own most of the time. So I wanted to give this kid everything and then some. And like I bought the car. I gave, and there was resentment. And and I was like, but I want to give all these opportunities. And at one point he was like, I just want to go live in my car. And I was like, are you crazy?
Uh,
And he did
what?
that whole off the grid with all the kids and science and all that. And he's into science and math and a smart kid, expert in chess, and makes tons of money now and all that, speaks 3 different languages. And I'm like, and you're going to live in your car. Like I went through a lot so you would never be homeless. And you're gonna go do that.
Be a
And
vagabond.
like literally, I brought him to Tony Robbins, and Tony's like, "Yeah, let him go live in the car." And I was like, "Really? Okay."
Well, that you can't argue with Tony Robbins. That's
Yeah, no. And so that's what happened. And he's got his own place, his own business, and all that, doing great now. But I stopped. I stopped giving. Like I will help my kids. I will walk on fire for them. I will do anything for those kids, obviously. But when they put the effort out, like when my daughter bought her first car, she was like, I did that. Look here, I'm going to show you what I bought today. And she was so proud. And yeah, now we're like getting something different because of the gas, but she's paying for it. And yeah, when they're young, I did help with insurance because it's crazy expensive, and they're going to school, and working. But like when there's effort, they appreciate it. They clean the car more. They're more careful about accidents. It's a big deal. And it's easier to make the mistakes, the learnings we have in business when you're young and you can still come home and you're not providing for a family. So
Time. You have
yeah,
time. Time is on your side. You can hit the reset.
exactly. Yes, yes. So that's so important. Now, how would you say business affects relationships? What's your take on that?
Business affects relationships, and you have to align yourself with someone not necessarily in business, but understand what the goal is. And
Hmm.
when you can get to at least that point where
Right.
where we're not, I don't necessarily need to be with another entrepreneur, but whoever I'm with needs to understand that I'm not thinking about tomorrow, I'm not thinking about next week. This is down the road.
Right.
And if you stick with me through this pain,
Yeah.
or even better, if you help me build it, I'll get there faster.
Yeah.
We will get there faster. And the only people that can benefit is us. A
Mhm.
lot of us, a lot of Americans operate in today. I want
Yeah.
it now.
Right.
YOLO. You only live once. So I need to do this now. I need to buy the car now. I need to get the big
Mhm.
house now. We all live in today.
Mhm.
Very few think about tomorrow. And so being with a business owner, being with an entrepreneur comes with the understanding that this is for the future. This is not today. It may suck right now. It doesn't look cute. It may not look cute, right? When I'm sitting there painting these real estate properties,
Yep.
when I'm cleaning this toilet, it's not sexy.
No. I've
But
done it. I've done all of that, definitely, many, many times, and been okay with it. But yes, it definitely wasn't glamorous.
but
Yep.
it paid off.
Exactly.
So
Ex
that's what I've realized in business is and relationships. It takes a
Mhm.
special person to
Mhm.
date a business owner, to date
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, and vice versa.
Right. And I think what I have found, because I do consulting with a lot of business owners, doctors, restaurants, attorneys, all kinds of different businesses. And it'll end up that, and then I'm working with the husband and wife. Even though I was working on business consulting, they got great results. And then we get to talk about what happened at home and what was missing or what needs to have a little shift. and incredible results. And it has a lot to do with that presence. And like your gentleman style podcast, when your spouse, your relationship, your partner feels safe and knows, okay, I'm doing this business, we're doing this, we're working and building together, but I got you, we got each other, and we're going to get through this. That's when you're good. But when they feel like, oh, I'm not safe anymore and I'm not getting time, or the person isn't present because the list of all the things to do for work comes home, and you go to bed with the list or the computer, and you're still doing the marketing or what. Like, I have spent all nighters sometimes with the things I've done. And yeah, and it's nothing personal. It's not like you don't love the person, but to make that time and to have that understanding, and maybe a code word or some kind of thing you can do where, like, hey, we need to talk right now, or we need to have fun. Do that. Because sometimes when you go, like, I'll go take a ride on the boat, and because I live near a lake right now, and I'll go take a ride on the boat, and I'll think, when I leave, I'm like, but I got so much work to do. You have no idea how much work I got to do. My list would scare the pants off of Santa. And it's so long. And so,
That's a lot of pants.
yeah, and that's really bad. But I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then my friends will convince me, just come on, take a couple hours off. What's a couple hours? Well, that's like a lot of time. And I'll go, and then I'll have incredible breakthroughs, great ideas while I'm on the boat. And I don't want to leave the boat because I know work is waiting, but it just actually helps with my business when I do those. I mean, my friends have to kidnap me half the time, take me and go, let's go play. But it is part of the balance for running a business, because it's not something you never end. When you're an entrepreneur, as soon as that's successful, you want the next thing. You want a new project, because it's a game. It's fun. It's part of the way you do life. And so it's a combination.
It's a better part of life. It's
Yeah.
a better part of life. Yeah.
It is. And all my kids got to be part of the business in one way or another. They learned, and they were very involved. Not to get political, but when we got into politics, because I got invited to run people's campaigns, they were like, "What's your party?" I was so young. I was like, "Free Spirit." Is that a party? I did not know anything about all that, and I just knew people. And I got hired and I got paid because I'm good with people and leadership and working with teams and having fun, whatever that is. And the kids, when I got involved, my politics was mostly equal education for all in the United States, and having fair education, which we didn't have and still don't have in our country the way we should. But that was big for me and something I've worked on for 20 years. But they helped. Back in the day, we had flyers, paper, they would staple. They would help me, and they got involved. And so now, even though they're young adults, they're involved in the politics they believe in. They're involved in the community. They're involved. They all have a little side business or two. And when they go to work for a company, a job, they end up like getting the managing position at Starbucks when they just start, because they actually care. Because when you run your own business, if somebody's out, you get to run it. So they know it's like, it's different than I'm just checking into work. And if somebody's one of my sons says he has one coworker that they get there late, then they go for a lunch, and then they sign out early. And he says if they had like 10 minutes to work, they would work 2 minutes, and the rest would be showing up late and leaving early. It's like they work so hard not to work, and they don't get the raises. And so he got to be a manager very young because he showed up and was 100% present.
He outworked everybody that left at 2 minutes in. You're right. Business owners are the only people that get to see the impact they make in the world. That's what business owners are. That's what we are. Everything we do, you get to see your product flirt. You get to see that model, right? You're going to see him in a magazine somewhere, and you get to say, I did this. That's what business owners get to do, and that's what we get to do. We don't just provide a service. We actually get to make impact and make a difference in the world.
Yes. Now, for me, my impact in my business years ago, 23 years old, I had close to 200 kids really that came from foster care at-risk youth, they called it. And I created this whole program, a 6 month training program, fully covered by Job Training Partnership Act. So I worked with the government, and all these young adults came through. Nobody wanted to hire them. I came from the system. So that was like, these are like my relatives. This is like my family, right? And they all got better jobs and an opportunity and did very well. I still know many today. And that was, how does a gift store selling stuff to people? That was the heart, and the community could feel it. And that's why I ended up having all those other stores, because that you can give back and be creative and bring in whatever your heart is, helping kids, people, animals, whatever it is, to any business. It doesn't even matter. You can, it's just that creativity that, yeah, that makes a difference. So,
Facts. Hashtag facts.
oh, thank you. Now, Marcus, I'd love to learn more about where people can listen into your show and more about how they can connect with you. We're coming to the end of our talking time.
Absolutely. You can connect with me on YouTube under Gentleman Style Podcast. Also, I'm on Facebook under my name, Marcus Norman. Or you can find me on all social media platforms, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, or where Audible, and wherever your audio can be listened to. So I'm on all platforms, video and audio. So that's how you can connect with me. Send me an email if you're feeling froggy and want to just connect and pick my brain. Like Sheila, I'm very diverse in a lot of different things, and I've been exposed to a lot of things. You can email me at marcus@gentlemanstylepodcast.com.
All right. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for being a guest on the show. And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages. All right.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today I have a couple of announcements. First, I would like to hear from you. That's right. I would love to hear from you. To be honest, I want to know what your breakthrough is, what your reboot is. How are you reinventing and rebooting your life? What shows would you like to hear more of? What information do you need to help you get back on track this year? And to do that, the best way to connect with me is actually through my new YouTube channel, and that is Sheila Mac Show on YouTube. And there you can see past recordings, and you can also see other information and shares that I have. And I would love for you to share in the comments there what you're needing more of and what you're rebooting this year and how we can help you get back on track. Necessitated. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There's a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and That's never going to work. And who do you think you are? One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you. They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, "Hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too." When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you, the one who came. All right, if you are looking to reinvent life on your terms, if you are grieving, experiencing financial turmoil, career shifts, relationship problems, parenting, elder care, victims of abuse, breaking free from an addiction, or seeking an overall business and lifestyle redesign, then you may need a reboot. It is not fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. Bootstraps and Bra Straps is now available wherever fine books are sold.